okay? All right. So now we are officially recording. Okay, today is our last class. Okay, so we'll be discussing our last topic, and then we will go through a little bit about your final exam. Okay. And then I think it's tomorrow, where is it 28th tomorrow, where you're supposed to submit all your videos. Okay. So what you will do is, you upload the video on YouTube. Okay, your 1 to 3 minutes video. Okay, you put it on YouTube and you just share the link to me via WhatsApp. Okay. Alright, just do it anytime before 12 tomorrow. That means you have the whole day tomorrow, okay? So just give me the link. Like I said, there's no particular format for the video. As long as you can encapsulate, okay, can capture the whole content of your written assignment, okay? Alright, so today, let me show you, okay. We have this presentation, okay, we talk about, laws and regulations, supposed to be ethics and effects, right? Not this one. This is the wrong one. Okay, this is what happened when you use the same template, right? Okay, so it's a very simple chapter, okay, where we will discuss, okay, the general effects, okay, of media. Okay, this is basically trying to look at the social effects of media. Okay, in the last class, we've already discussed, especially in relation to the American media, right? We said there is no specific rules, okay? That in America especially, they do not want the media industries refuse to be regulated by the government because they practice what we call as libertarianism, okay? So most countries in the world today are also talking about media regulation, where they try to minimize or decrease any form of regulation. Okay, like the other day, Malaysian minister said even social media content needs license. Okay, so obviously he did not, I guess he probably was caught off guard lah, okay, with the question, probably not prepared. Okay, obviously no social media content can be, what we call it, controlled as much as how broadcast and printed media was controlled, okay, because this is a totally different type of media, okay. So in the US, okay, especially no laws, but we've already discussed and studied. Okay, thank you to those who switched on your video today. Yes, this is the last class, okay. Let me see your face, okay. If not, I will forget. Maybe next time we meet in October, inshallah. Okay, we meet in October, hopefully different course, not the same course. Okay. So here, okay, going back to what we want to talk about, ethical guidelines. So when there are no media laws, okay, media industries, okay, I'm referring mostly to the US, okay, and not be regulated by the government, they usually establish their own codes of standards. Okay, they practice what we call as self-regulation, self-censorship. Okay, it means here that instead of having the government control them, okay, having the government set the rules and laws, okay, this misbehavior, we will be responsible. Okay, we will establish our own standards, our own codes of conduct. We self-regulate using codes, okay, codes of conduct. What does this mean? Okay, you maybe if you go to certain, okay, like NBC's website or CNN's website, sometimes they share their own codes. Okay, so here this is in relation to the practices. Okay, what kind of content they undertake. This is in terms of the practice, the conduct of the media practitioners. For example, the journalists codes of conduct. Okay, they can establish, okay, the journalists will write more responsibly. The journalists would not intrude the privacy of their, what we call it, subject matter. Okay, so this is what
Madam.
Milo hilang.
Patutlah, tak nampak slides tu tadi. What happened? Ikut.
That's all for today.
Janganlah macam tu. Tak dapat lagi input pasal exam ni. I think sebab dia orang baru lepas, dia orang just had a meeting kot yesterday about the final exam.
Last week.
I'm not sure. Ikut. Mana cuti? Last week kot lah. Last week. Alright.
How can we invite Madam in again?
I think she can invite herself back in since she's the host.
Sadaqallahul Azim.
Don't say anything sebab video still recording.
What is the possible alternative that we can do? I guess we can actually try to WhatsApp Madam to talk about this matter. Ke what
She said she cannot buka WhatsApp.
Yeah, but tadi Madam ada WhatsApp. She said that, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's trying to log back in.
Madam dah kembali.
Welcome back, madam.
Madam, I can't hear your voice.
You should
Your voice, madam.
speak the mic, madam.
Turn on the mic.
Unmute.
Okay. That's why I think tak baca doa. Tak baca doa.
Already baca lah, madam. Already
Baca
baca.
je. How many of you tak solat Zohor? Must be banyak ni. Okay, sorry, I don't know, something wrong with my connection dah lah, last class, right? Okay, so we go really fast, okay? Right, the chapter is not that long as well. I hope, okay, we can finish this chapter today, okay? Alright, so where were we?
Yeah.
Okay, see, even my slide also dah hilang. Hold on, alright? Okay, you guys get to see my face a lot, sometime longer, a few minutes till the slides come on.
No problem.
Okay?
Madam.
Alright, that's why. Gabra lah macam ni. Hold on. Okay. Alright, here it is, okay? So like I said just now, okay? Because that in the US especially, okay, there is no specific laws. So most of the media companies, okay, the media industries, they create their own codes of conduct, their own practice, okay? So they usually use codes and standards. Okay, what are codes? Okay, codes are in relation to the practice, the media practice. Okay, and these guides the journalists, okay, the content creator, okay. But what is unique about these codes is that different organizations or different companies would have their own. Okay, but in general, they will share the same ideas in the sense that they try to be responsible, they try to be objective. Okay. So they will regulate themselves, okay, they will follow these codes. And also they will establish their own standards. Standards are in relation to their technical, what we call it, practice, okay, not the practice, the technical guides and technical definitions. For example, they will say that all of their programming will be on HD. Okay, using certain kind of what we call it, technical jargons, okay, using certain types of colors, okay. So all of this is established on their own. So the government will not regulate what they do. Okay, the government will not say this can or cannot, okay, because most of the time these media organizations will be very careful because they want to protect their independence, okay. But sometimes, okay, if they, you know, unintentionally, okay, break their own codes or does something that is insensitive, okay, mostly the public will take action. And when the public criticizes or when the public is unhappy, okay, then the government will take action. Okay, can you follow the difference here? The difference is that there's no rules, there's no law. That means there's no government regulation. But what they have is self-regulation, self-censorship. Okay? So when they come up with these ethical considerations, okay, they must consider all of their stakeholders. Okay, they don't only talk about what we call this, they don't only focus on the audiences, they focus on their shareholders, people who contribute to them, okay, because they have a responsibility towards the audiences as well as toward others. And these others could be the general public who are not even their audiences. Okay, for example, when they come out with a TV program, it has to be racially sensitive. Okay, ethnically sensitive, even though the program is catered, for example, to a specific segment. Okay, why? Because the media industry is very tempting. All right, it's very tempting for journalists to break news, for example. Okay, to sensationalize news. Okay, so they must make sure, okay, that when they come out with the news or a particular content, okay, that they consider, okay, their stakeholders before getting tempted to write things that maybe is sensationalized, but not necessarily beneficial for the public. Can you follow? All right. So ethical consideration is very important because, okay, the media industry is very murky, not clear. Sometimes it's blur. All right. What can and cannot, they don't have a specific law. Okay. So they have to follow these ethical considerations. Because with regard to news, for example, they need to make quick decisions. Okay. So these quick decisions, for example, to cover a political, what we call it, controversy. If it is only based on the company's commercialized gains or commercialized objectives to make money, to sell the news, it's always fun, it's always interesting to sensationalize news, or to break any news fast and easy way. But quick decisions can be dangerous. So that is why ethical considerations, they must look into the rules that they have established themselves. Understand? All right. Now, you can see the differences when it comes to quick decisions between formal media organizations and typical social media. All right. You can see that usually if there is a breaking news or a big controversy, the mainstream media will take their time. They will not easily share about it, because they need to be careful. All right. So quick decisions, ethical considerations can help media organizations from spreading fake news, especially in this time. Where it's so easy to create news and to share news. And then ethical consideration must also see whether a particular content is suitable for a particular time and place. All right. So in the US, for example, racial issues are very sensitive at the moment. So newspaper, news industries, media industries must be sensitive, must be careful not to air certain programs or certain songs that could add fire to the particular controversy. So in the US, that's why if you remember, we studied, they have regional, national, and local media. One of the reasons is because, the place, different geographical area, especially in the US, because they're so big, have different cultures and different sensitivities. For example, you have states like Atlanta, where it is black majority. And then you have states like Texas, that's white majority. So that is why their media is usually catered to the geographical area. Because they need to incorporate this ethical consideration, when they produce content to that particular time and place. And of course, technology. All right. Newspapers, for example, today are more prominent on social media. But on the social media, will they practice the same ethical consideration? When they write and publish news, they have time, to focus, on the sensitivities, to be more careful. But when they are on the social media, they are competing with other news platforms, with other, what we call it, websites, in order to get audiences. So technology sometimes have changed the way mainstream media practice their conducts. So even ethics are being challenged by technology. Can you follow here? Technology has changed, all right? So even the practice, the codes of conduct. A journalist, a traditional journalist, they have time, they write the news and then they send the news to their editor and the editor will check. But today with new technology, all right, the journalists have to write and the journalist will have to publish. So he or she must consider it on her own without, the responsibility or the help of the editor. So ethical considerations can be dynamic, but it is still very important. Okay. And also why? Because most media industries have conflicting loyalties. Okay, when they write their ethical guides, for example, okay, they say they will be responsible to the audiences. Okay, they will try to, what we call it, be objective in their news. But will they be able, okay, to apply all of these codes of conducts, okay, if they have loyalties to certain organizations? Okay, because usually media companies are funded by big corporations. And these big corporations are usually linked or interlinked with specific political groups. Okay, so in that sense, when a newspaper or a media company covers about politics or covers about the economy, will they be able to be objective? Can you understand? So that is why, okay, although we claim that the American media companies are very, what we call it, open, okay, they don't have rules and regulations, but if you study their media, you can see that their media is very biased. You have certain media, okay, like the New York Post, okay, or the Washington Post, who are liberal and very pro-Democrats. And then you have channels like Fox that are very traditional and conservative and very pro-Trump. So in one sense, they are very open, okay, you can be supportive of whoever you want. But when they are open, okay, they are also become biased because they tend to support, okay, and be loyal to certain groups that fund them. So these ethics that they claim to have, that they claim to follow, can still be very questionable. Can you understand? All right, okay. So these are the considerations that must be taken into account when they come up with their codes of conducts. Okay. Okay, so when we talk about media, right, okay, usually people would have a negative, okay, what we call it, perspective about the effects of media. Okay, why? Because media has a very large, very powerful influence. No one can deny that media is very influential. Okay, how is it influential? Okay, you look at the way we live our everyday life. Okay, what we wear, what we eat, how we think, all is very much influenced or determined by our media consumption. Okay, so media is very influential. And because it is very influential, it's so easy for many people or many groups to accuse the media, okay, for all the bad things that are happening. Okay, who would accuse the media? Your parents, your mother would accuse the television, would accuse Netflix, would accuse TikTok, would accuse Twitter. Okay, you're not doing well in your studies, too loud on Twitter all the time. Okay, it's easy to blame the media. Okay, who else accused the media? Okay, politicians, Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump blames Twitter, blames newspapers for everything. He even blames the media for COVID-19. Okay, he blames the media. He says if the media does not talk a lot about it, people won't be scared of it. All right, so it's easy to accuse, but the media is not one thing. Okay, the media is actually a system. Okay, it's part of other systems. Okay, so in facing these accusations, okay, most media practitioners say it's best that we focus on the good effects, because most of the time we talk about the negative effects of the media. Okay, they don't talk about the good effects of the media. What are the good effects of the media? Who can share? What are the good effects of the media?
People got to know to each other.
What?
People from long distance can, like get in touch to each other.
Yes, okay, they allow us, they link us with one another. Look at what we're doing right now, okay? We can have an online class, Thank you, Google. All right. Ideal. Okay, how has the media helped you in your everyday life?
Basically, to gain information and it's more to visual experience rather than physical experience.
What do you mean? Not physical experience.
I mean, certain things we can learn from the media rather than we go face it physically. We can learn from the media itself, lah.
Yes, of course, right, Professor Google.
Yeah.
Okay, you do everything, Professor Google, Professor YouTube, okay, Professor TikTok, okay. Of course, right? So the media gives us a lot of information, good information, but usually is blindsided by the negative effects of the media. Okay, so when we talk about effects, all right, of course the good effects, we feel it, we experience it, okay. So the nature with media is, okay, it has good and bad effects, but we cannot run away with from the media because the media is ubiquitous. Okay, it has ubiquity. What does this mean? It means that the media is so present in our everyday life. It's everywhere. Okay, you cannot run away from the media. You can say that you no longer want to be on the social media. But everywhere you go, when you go to the clinic, you go to the restaurant, you cannot switch off your eyes, all right? The television would be on. You cannot turn off your ears. Somewhere somebody is playing music, all right? So media is so prominent in our everyday life. Okay, so that is why the effects of the media cannot be denied. Okay, so as media practitioners, okay, we must try to focus on how to highlight the good effects. Can you understand? All right. Okay. So usually, okay, the media practitioners, okay, the industries, okay, as the journalists, okay, producers, we hardly focus on the negative effects. Okay, because most of the time we are consumed to produce what we think is our best work. Okay. So usually there will be another institution that will provide a check and balance to the media industries. Okay, so it is the citizen groups and the academic institutions that usually look at the effects of the media. Can you understand? All right. So citizen groups, academic institutions. Why? Because we do research. Okay, we want to look at what the media does to the people. Okay, the good and the bad. Alright. So citizen groups, these are the groups that are basically feared by the media companies in the US. Because in the US, they have strong citizen groups and very reputable academic institutions. Because when these organizations, okay, come up with the research and they say, you know, media is doing this, okay, creating a lot of violence, okay, people will take will take their words seriously. Okay, so that is why, okay, media industries or media companies in the US, they try to self-regulate so that the citizen groups would not go after them. Can you follow?
Madam, I don't understand. They self-regulate so that the citizens group doesn't go after them. What do you mean by that? Yeah.
Okay, what I mean is, remember I said the American media have no legally binding rules or regulations that is set by the government or by the authorities. Okay, so they want the freedom. But in order to maintain the freedom, okay, they must make sure that they don't get complaints from citizen groups. That means the public are happy with them. Okay, so that's why they are very careful with their practice. So that's why they establish their own ethics and codes of conduct. Okay, because if, for example, they come up with, they share contents that are what we call it, the word we learned that are explicit, okay, that are insensitive, okay, then the citizen groups, the public will start to complain. Okay. For example, okay, like the Black Lives Matter. So they claim certain channels in the US like Fox, okay, is too, what we call it, white bias. Okay, so citizen groups who are pro-Black Lives Matter will start to argue, will start to, for example, create campaign to boycott, okay, Fox. So this is what Fox would not want. You know what I mean by Fox, right? It's a network in the US, okay? So Fox do not want to get boycotted by the public because that will affect their revenue. Can you follow or not? So this is why, okay, they don't want citizen groups to be angry with them. So they are very careful. So the best example is the Janet Jackson case. Remember? Okay, I've discussed the story many times before. Okay, Janet Jackson, okay, many people got angry when she flashed herself. There was no law in the US that state you cannot flash yourself. You can do whatever you want in the media. Okay, but because she accidentally flashed herself, people got angry and the government took action. Okay, are you clear, Fateh?
Yes, I'm clear. Madam, please correct
Yeah.
me if I'm wrong. Can
Yeah.
we say that the citizens group can be considered as the watchdog? Is
Yeah.
it true?
Very good.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they are the watchdog. Okay, so this is why only this kind of system, self-regulation, is only more effective in countries that have strong citizen groups. Okay, like in Malaysia, we don't have a strong citizen group. Okay, because in Malaysia, we're very forgiving, right? If anything happen, we forget. Okay, after 1 day, 2 day, we forget. So, okay, so that's why you have like Sajat, for example, can do anything he wants because there's no citizen pressure. Okay, we say we don't like, but we follow on Instagram. So, all right, so this is the problem. We don't have strong citizen groups. That's why government usually take actions. Okay. Okay, high profile effects. Now, of course lah, alright, media have a lot of effects. Okay, but in the textbooks, okay, Gross, okay, the author focus on these effects. Why? Because it's high profile, the most prominent. This is what people always discuss when they talk about the effects of the media. Okay, so number one, media violence. Okay, now we can say, oh, Madam, alright, I've been watching violent movie all my life. Okay, I'm not trying to kill anyone after I watch it. Okay, but there are still people who are becoming what we call it, violent. Okay, influenced by the violence that they watch. Okay, in the movies, on television, we've seen many terrorist cases that emulate. Okay, they emulate what they see in the video games, like the New Zealand bombing, all right, or in the US where they have issues with school shootings. Okay, you know, right, in the US they have an issue with school shootings, all right, where young children, teenagers, school students, okay, go on rampage and mass shoot their classmates. Every year there are more than 10 school shooting cases. Okay, statistics have shown that more Americans die from school shooting than they do from terrorist attacks. Okay, but of course, all right, we can argue lah. Okay, the Malaysian boys, the Indonesian boys also play computer games, but you don't go shoot people. But maybe not yet. Okay. But in the US, okay, research has shown that most of these students were motivated by the games that they watch or that they play. Because the games may not, okay, they usually, of course, have other issues. Maybe they were being bullied, they have psychological issues, of course. We're not blaming media alone. And of course, there is the gun control issues in the US, okay, anybody can get access to guns. But still, there is this contribution of the media. Okay? Because one thing is that the games or the movies, okay, they tell the kids how to be violent. And then not only that, they valorize or romanticize violence. How do they romanticize violence? Okay, guys are very, what we call it, sexy if they're strong. Okay, if they can punch really hard. Okay, the bigger the bulge here, right? Okay, the bigger the bulge on your, what you call it, your biceps, triceps. Okay, the more stronger you are. Okay, but I think the bigger your biceps, the shorter your neck become, right? Okay, then better not lah, then you become like chicken only. You know, chicken wing, fat on top, skinny at the bottom. Okay? Alright. Okay, so it's good to be normal je lah. Okay? But point is what? They romanticize violence, right? You go, okay, why do you want to watch action movie? The more violence, the better. Alright? So then what happens is that sometimes we become romanticized by violence. Okay? Violence may look cool, or that violence may even, okay, be normalized. Okay, and violence in the media is not only through fictional characters. It could be via news. Okay, because news will cover, okay, stories that appear more violent. Okay, like war. What kind of images do they show? Okay, can you follow so far? Right, so that is why violence, okay, has been one of the most studied effects of media. Okay, and the effect here is not as if a one-time thing. It's cultivated. Okay, that means it takes a long time. Okay, for you to be acceptable, to accept the amount of violence that you watch on TV, that you don't feel anything anymore, right? And of course, children. Okay, children is very susceptible to media effects. Okay, and especially today when children are easily using media content without supervision. In the old days, okay, media effects were more concerned with television. Children watch too much TV, or that advertisers, okay, can easily, what we call it, focus on children. Okay, because you know in the US at one point they say, okay, they need to protect children, that advertisers cannot advertise junk food, for example, during children's programming. Okay, so why? Because children easily influenced, okay, by the cartoons that they watch, by the content that they consume. But today it's even more problematic, okay, because children is getting access to more media content, especially online. And of course lah, now you hear of news of children, okay, being used for pornography, okay, children being so many things, because they are being used, they are using the media mostly unsupervised. Okay. And then of course, the coverage of news. News today has become a commodity. What do we mean news is a commodity? Okay, news is something that the media organizations sell to get money. Okay? So what happens when news becomes a commodity? Okay, the news no longer objective. Why? Because media companies tend to sensationalize. Okay, what do we mean by sensationalize? Okay, it is probably just a simple news, okay, but it is made into something that is bigger. Okay, that instead of the news focusing on the particular what we call it, on what is important, they focus on the other things that would make people become more interested. Okay. For example, now you have the news about Subu Pavitra, right? Which is sad. Okay. So obviously they were sensationalizing the news, okay, showing the photo of the husband, okay, talking about how the violence, okay. So this is the kind of news that we like to read, okay. But at the same time, it is a sensationalized news, that it is not a good news because it is really touching about a person's personal life. You know, there are bigger important issues. For example, stories about how, okay, our, what we call this, you know, the case, okay, the COVID-19 case is growing again. But that news is not as interesting as reading Sugu Pavitra. So Sugu Pavitra will become front page news. Okay? Because this is what? This is sensational news. Can you understand? All right, so news will focus on sensationalism. So what's the problem with sensationalism? Then we lose focus. What is it that is important? Okay, you can see, right, newspapers, okay, today a big chunk of the news is not really hard news. It's mostly soft news. Okay, gossips lah, lifestyle stories. Okay, when a celebrity gets a divorce, front page. Okay, when students cannot afford to pay for their fees, usually don't get any coverage. Only on IIUM tomorrow. Okay, today cannot cover after university angry. Tomorrow can cover. Alright, so you get what I'm saying? Because newspapers, okay, that's the way they sell the news. People like to talk about, okay, and it's our fault also lah as audiences, right? We like things about gossip. We like things about this kind of very, what we call it, everyday life stories. But the role of the newspaper is supposed to be educating and informing the public. Newspapers are supposed to be the watchdog. Okay? Can you follow? Okay, but instead they're making us watch movies in the news. Alright? And then of course, news also today are quite biased. Bias to whom? Bias to whoever that is funding them. Bias to the status quo. Okay, news is impossible for a news to claim to be objective. Okay? Can you understand? Alright? And then news and presentation. Okay? They're focusing more on how to present the news rather than the content of the news. And if you notice, okay, news nowadays are becoming shorter and shorter. There are more images, more visuals, more graphics than content and written words. Okay, so all of this is changing the nature of news, not only in newspaper, but also on television. Okay, they tend to focus on the visuals rather than the content. You follow so far? All right. And then of course, there are the issues of representation, you know, women and minorities. Okay, how women especially are being portrayed in the media. Okay, although today we claim that women have more acknowledgement, recognition, okay, women are still very much discriminated in terms of how we are being represented on the media. Okay, women are still being portrayed as the second-class citizen. Okay, you get what I'm saying? Because, all right, when we watch the movies, when we watch television, okay, a woman is always placed as the second, not the main role. Can you understand? Okay, it's usually the man who saves the day. Okay, but it's not just in terms of content, it's also in terms of practice. Okay, there are more male journalists. Okay, there are more male decision makers. Although when we watch the media, watch TV, watch movie, we tend to see more female images. Okay, advertisements usually feature females. TV, drama, film, okay, music always feature females. Okay, but the females are usually only on the, what we call it, on the screen, not behind the screen. Can you understand? The decision makers are still men. So when the men are the decision makers, okay, so it's really hard to put women at par. For example, okay, Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars has been around for almost 40 years. Okay, and they have almost, I think, I don't know how many movies. Okay, so many. Okay, but out of all these movies, okay, there was only one female scriptwriter. Okay, so that means, okay, when Star Wars is being watched by the whole, okay, the global audience, okay, the messages that are being sent in that particular movie is very much masculine. Can you follow? All right. So people argue, oh, the latest Star Wars, okay, the hero is a girl, right? Okay, but the girl is still quite masculine. Okay, so it's not just women, also minorities. Okay, how are minorities being presented in the media? Okay, we don't have to talk about the American media. Let's talk about the local Malaysian media. Okay, Malaysian media is very, what we call it, ethnocentric. The Malay dramas will focus the Malays only. Isn't it, right? And if there's a Chinese character, or he's going to convert. Okay, it's always a Chinese or a non-Muslim that's going to convert to Islam. Okay, it's not really talking about the realities of the Malaysian life. Okay, where most of the time they don't easily convert to Islam. Alright, right? All the Malay movies. Okay, if I were a non-Muslim or a Chinese, I'd be very angry lah. When I watch Malay movies, it's all about Chinese being converted to Islam. Okay, so minorities are always being underrepresented and usually being what we call it, misrepresented. Okay, we can always identify the stereotypes. Okay, even it's an American film, okay, the Asians would be Chinese. Okay, the Asian would be Chinese. And how would they be characterized? Okay, Chinese or Indian? Okay, they will be characterized as the nerd, as the smart one. Okay, as the funny one. Okay, not the strong or masculine one. Okay, that is the Asians. Okay, what about the Latino? The Latino would be the very gatal one, okay, the romantic one. So these are what we call as stereotypical representation in the media. Okay, and so unfortunate for us, okay, the Malays, the Indonesians, okay, we are usually not represented at all in the global media. We're not even Asian. I don't know what they call us. Okay, what color are we? Are we yellow, brown, white, black? We're not black, we're not white, we're not brown. Okay, so we are not represented. Okay, and then of course the effects, okay, sex. Okay, because the media tends to romanticize sex. Okay, especially when we talk about Western media. Okay, I'm sure most of you learned about this not in Form 4, Form 5 science. Okay, or Form 1 science, I'm not sure. You probably learned it from the media, from the songs that you listen to, or the TV programs that you watch. But when you watch these programs or listen about it, when it is sang about, okay, they always sing about it being in relation to pleasure. Okay, talking about sexual pleasures. Okay, they talk about how this is what people in love will do. Do they talk about the repercussions of having sex? Okay, they don't talk about that, right? They don't talk about teenage pregnancy. Okay, they don't talk about what else? Okay, about abortions. Okay, they don't talk about the repercussions. They only talk about the romantic aspect. Okay, they want to sell sex. Okay, why is it? What do we mean by sell sex? Because with sexual content comes certain kinds of portrayal. Sexy clothes, okay, romantic dinner, what else, okay, sexy environment, okay, looking good, all of this leading to sex, and all of it leading to more, leading to commercial gains. Can you understand? Okay. And of course now, okay, because sex has also become an industry, I've mentioned before, pornography is the most profitable media industry. Okay. But how do you, especially now, how do the media organization draw the line? Okay, how do you draw the lines? When you romanticize sex. Okay, I think there was a controversy with a Netflix film. I think it's called 365. Okay, Ideal, have you watched it?
Yes, yeah.
Ideal. Okay, never mind. Ideal watch it too for educational purposes.
Yes, madam. There's a message behind the movie actually.
Okay, what is the message, Ideal?
Let me think.
Okay. Alright, I don't know. I only read about the controversy. Okay, I did not watch it because I'm very innocent like that. Okay. I don't know lah what's the controversy. It is said that the movie, of course, is a very sexy movie, but it's about the kidnapper having a relationship with the person he kidnapped.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it's as if then all those what we call it, those who are watching wish that they get kidnapped by a handsome kidnapper. I don't know. But the point is, okay, it romanticizes. Okay, it romanticizes this criminal act. Okay, being kidnapped becomes sexy. Okay, you get what I'm saying also, right? How it is easily making money out of sex. Okay, how many of you have watched? Okay, I'm sure most of you watched the Grace. What?
50 Shades of Grey.
What is it? 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, see, Ideal will know. Okay, 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, is it? 50 Shades Free. Okay.
So free.
All of that. You cut them all? Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah, okay, all right, soon. After exam. Okay. So point is what, all right? For that also, it is romanticizing sex. Okay. So here, all right, the point is the media makes a lot of money from selling sex and the ideas of sex. Can you understand? Okay. And they are selling it to all of these audiences, okay, all of these students at the International Islamic University of Malaysia. Okay, so this is something that we need to think about, okay, the effects of media. Okay, especially nowadays when young children, okay, are being exposed to media content very, very early. Okay, I think you have heard of news and cases of how 12-year-old boy, I think it was one in Malacca, okay, he was, okay, caught trying to rape, okay, a standard 1 girl. Why? Because this is what he saw on his mobile phone. And for these children who cannot think for themselves, they do not know what they are watching. Okay, so it is very, very dangerous nowadays. Okay. So I give you this example. All right. Okay. You look at this, and this is based on my own experience. Okay, I caught my children, okay, trying to search for Elsa videos. And when they go to Elsa videos, they got linked to all these others videos, okay, that are not what we call it, that are quite vulgar kind of videos. Okay, instead of Elsa singing Let It Go, Elsa is making out with Spider-Man, making out with Iron Man. Elsa is so cheap. Okay, but when you get to this, all right, when you just what we call it, search for Elsa and Spider-Man, it is not going to bring you to an innocent Elsa and Spider-Man video. Okay, it may lead you to all of these very questionable, okay, very vulgar, okay, very scary, videos that can contaminate, okay, the minds of young children. What do you think will happen when a 4-year-old girl watches this video? She will learn about kissing, she would learn about French kissing, and she would like to try this French kissing with someone. Okay, so these are the effects, okay, that is becoming quite normalized because it is happening to everyone. Can you understand? All right, so this is something that is why you need a lot of what we call it, there still needs to be some kind of media regulation. And that parents especially must be media literate. Children cannot be literate, so their parents must be literate. Okay, and all of you soon will become young parents. You have to be literate. Okay, you have to know what is right or wrong for your children. Okay, can you understand? Because your children later on, you cannot say that you don't want to give them the phone. Cannot. It's a different kind of world. They need access to gadgets. Okay, so how are you going to draw the line? So you must be the literate parent. Okay. So this is an example of how the media tend to romanticize violence. Okay, so who is this guy? I cannot see lah. How to get rid of this? Hold on, yeah.
Buat slideshow lah, madam.
Slideshow. I don't like to do slideshow because if it's slideshow, then I cannot see your face. Okay. So this guy, quite okay looking like a typical rock star, right? Okay, typical rock star, messy hair with the goatee and all. So he is on the cover of the Rolling Stone. You know, Rolling Stone is a very prominent, okay, what we call it, pop culture magazine. Usually they will portray singers, celebrities, okay, but on one of its covers, they portray this guy. I forgot what his name is. But this is the guy, okay, who is the Boston Marathon bomber. You know, a couple of years back, there was a terrorist attacks at the Boston, what we call it, marathon. So it was him and his brother. Unfortunately, yes, a Muslim, okay? But the point is what? Okay, that people criticize the Rolling Stone for romanticizing a bomber. Can you understand? You put a bomber putting his best, what we call it, image in front of a pop culture magazine. So who will read? Young people. Okay? Okay, and then they valorize, they talk about, okay, the stories about this guy. That means giving attention to this bomber. So it's also saying, okay, some people relate this to why some school children, okay, it gets involved with school shooting because they want to get the media attention. Okay, maybe they're not popular in school. Okay, but if you do something violent, you get the media attention. You can be in front of Rolling Stone magazine. So this is what we talk about, the murkiness, okay, of media industries. Okay. So while they're trying to sell the magazine, okay, they are also somewhat normalizing violence. Okay. Right? So these are the issues that they need to, okay, media industries need to always talk about. Regulation. How much to regulate? What can be regulated? Okay. So like in the US, they try to regulate themselves, but obviously it's very challenging because, okay, it's not always black and white. And in many countries, developing countries like ours, we try to regulate, okay? But when we try to regulate, sometimes it can create to certain type of biasness, okay? So how much can we regulate? Okay, the minister was highly criticized, okay, because he wanted to regulate, okay, and he said he wanted to regulate the social media. Okay, in theory, it would be great if we can regulate the social media. Okay, but it is impossible. Okay, and then we've already talked about, okay, in the future, the issues of violence and sex is becoming more normalized. Okay, so citizen groups must be more, what we call it, effective. Okay, the roles of citizen groups. Okay, citizen groups, especially in countries like the US where they don't have legal restrictions, they must be very strong. Okay, citizen groups. And the effects, okay, of the future effects of the media, okay, we need to predict, we need to anticipate what will happen in the future. Okay, in the future, because if we talk about probably in the 70s, they would not have predicted, okay, they would not have foreseen that children will be using, okay, tablets even when they are only 1 year old. Okay, so these are the effects that we need to talk about in the future. What would happen, okay, when, okay, children grow up being influenced more by YouTube than by the education system? Okay, what would happen, for example, to local cultures, local values, or even language? Okay, you can see young children today, whether they stay in the kampong or they stay in the city, okay, they can speak English well because they've been watching Ryan. You know Ryan? Okay, Ryan's from Ryan's World or Ryan's Toys. Okay, he is the most, what we call it, successful, the richest YouTuber. Okay, even richer than PewDiePie, even richer than so many people. And he is only a young boy that reviews toys. Okay, so we can talk about how today many parents are trying to push their children to become YouTubers. Okay, how would this affect the future? Okay. All right, so that is it. Like I said, it's a very simple topic talking about the effects. There are many effects, okay, of the media, but here we talk about where the textbook basically focus more on the prominent effects. Okay. All right, any questions before we discuss the exam? Okay, very clear, very good. Okay, good, no question. Okay. So let me discuss a bit about your finals. Okay, as you know, the finals would be what we call it, take home exam, open book. Okay. Where is your paper? Okay. Hold on, yeah. I'm trying to find the document. Okay. See, I'm going to share with you the questions today. So whoever did not come to class, Rudy. All right, so your exam will be on August 12th. Okay, August 12th, 2:30. All right, it will start at 2:30, 6 hours. Okay, 2:30 to 8:30. 6 hours. But don't forget lah to pray, to go to the toilet. Okay, don't forget. Although it is 6 hours, I believe you can finish it around 3 hours. Okay, usually, okay, we give you extra time. Okay, so don't wait until 8:30 to submit. You finish, you submit. Okay, try to submit latest by 8. So if there's any issue, okay, you can try to resolve it. Okay. So if you have another exam in the morning, it's okay, all the best. Good for you, okay? You've got the brain exercise before, all right? But it shouldn't be any problem, open book, okay? So you have to read the instructions because you need to download this question. You have to answer it, okay, in the answer booklet provided, okay, and then you have to upload again. So all of these will be done via iTa'alim. Okay, iTa'alim, Ta'alim. So who have not even opened their iTa'alim? Okay, many of you ta'alim. Okay, you ta'alim. That's why you don't open it. Okay, so it's time to be ta'alim. Okay, time to be alim. Alright, so try to look, okay, log into your system. Don't do it too late. Okay, so read here. So this is it. Maximum number 8 pages. There are 4 questions, so around 2 pages per questions. Okay, first question. Line spacing 1.5. Use Time New Romans. Okay. Okay, for my papers, no need lah to list down the references. I know you took it from a certain website. Okay. So no need lah references, but be careful. Do not copy paste. Do not copy paste, all right? You read it, you find it from another source, you take it, you type it, put it in your own words. Okay? There is no reason for anyone to fail this paper. Okay? So, okay, reminded, okay, collaborated effort is strictly not allowed. Okay, don't be discussing secret WhatsApp group. Okay, don't do it lah. It's already an open book. Okay, put some effort. Alright, of course, nobody can know whether you've been sharing answers with someone else, huh? But Allah knows. Okay, Allah knows. Okay, so it's not worth going to hell for this. Okay, you want to go inside, then Allah says, oh, you copied for 3310. Okay, neraka you go. Okay, not worth it. Okay. Alright. Don't do it, alright? Some other questions, alamak, no questions. Okay. So you can imagine lah, the questions would be something like this. Okay. 10 marks each. Okay. So how to answer? Okay, the questions are rather straightforward. Okay, not scam lah. Okay. Where got scam? Alright. So it's straightforward. You just, okay, usually there will be some definitions that you must do. So these definitions, you can find it in the slides or in the textbook. Okay, but then you will have to elaborate and give examples. This is where you have to do your own research. Okay, you have to read somewhere or think about it yourself. Okay, so like I said, there is no reason for you to fail. Okay, everything is based on what we have studied. Okay, at least you can get half. All right. So here is the answer booklet. All right. Okay, fill in this. No need lah to fill exam venue. Okay, no need lah because maybe in the toilet or something. All right. 6 hours, kan? So here, please don't forget to put your question number 1 to 4. And you have this integrity form to sign. Don't forget to sign it. Alright. So basically, this is what you will be looking at for your finals.
Madam,
Right?
can I ask?
Yes.
The paper should be sent in Word form or PDF form?
I think it will be coming in words.
Oh, okay. You prefer Word, yeah, madam?
Yeah. Okay. Because I think when you download, I think the file will be in words and you type it straight away there. And then you upload again. Right? Okay, yes?
Madam, you said there's no need for references list. What about the in-text citation? Do we still need to include them?
Unless you use quotes. Okay, I mean,
Okay. So if we paraphrase, we don't
No
need
need.
citation.
Okay, unless you use quote, you take it verbatim. This is what who said and said. Alright, then you use that, you put that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Alright. Any more with regard to the exam? Okay. Alright. Okay. So although it's open book, you would still need to prepare in advance so you can know which part of the book to refer to. Okay. So if that is the case, okay, I just want to thank you for the whole semester. This has been a very unique year, unique semester. Okay, I hope that in October everything will be better, that we can still meet face to face. All right. Okay, so thank you. And yes, I would like to apologize if I have somewhat, I don't know, make you angry with my stupid jokes. Okay. All right. Ideal, yeah. Ideal, okay. Don't watch too much Netflix, yeah. Okay.
I'm good, madam.
All right. Now exam, go read the Quran. Okay. All right. Okay, if there's no other questions, okay, we end the class today with tasbih kafarah and wal-as. Don't forget to submit your video. Okay, your written assignment, I have gone through the plagiarized index. Okay, some of you went over the 20%. Okay, I will share later on WhatsApp group. Those who have word similarity index more than 20% will get some marks minus. Okay, actually cannot accept the assignment, but I'm too lazy to ask you to do another one. All right. Okay, that is it. Okay, we end the class today with tasbih kafarah and wal-as. If you still have any problems or issues, you can ask via WhatsApp. Okay. All right. Thank you, kids.
Thank you,
Okay,
madam.
yeah. Allah bless all of
Thank you so much, madam.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, madam. See you.
Thank you, madam.
Salam.
Thank you, madam.
All right.